Has Carlos Alcaraz edged himself into the debate over who should be hailed as the greatest player of all time in men's tennis? Stay until the end of the video to hear the full message. It is a question that has never been asked of a 22-year-old in the history of the sport, but Alcaraz is a talent who cannot just be described as generational, as he is already so much more than that. Alcaraz's incredible achievements ensure that he is not just a legend in this generation of the sport, but also an icon who would be installed into the International Tennis Hall of Fame even if he didn't strike another ball for the rest of his career. His 7th Grand Slam win at the Australian Open allowed him to complete his career Grand Slam collection, as he added the trophy in Melbourne to his wins at the French Open, Wimbledon and the US Open. Of course, he is many years away from matching the achievements of the greatest players of all time, with Novak Djokovic in a league of his own as he has 24 Grand Slam titles, more ATP 1000 titles than any other players and many more weeks at world number 1.
Of his career, for sure, in my eyes, to be able to complete the career Grand Slam at 22 is absolutely incredible. We have to thank Novak because he's pushing the ceiling higher and higher and putting the bar up higher and higher. And it's going to make players like Carlos Alcaraz and Jannik Sinner want to continue their careers much, much longer than we did in the past. At 38, I mean, Carlos Alcaraz is such an unbelievable athlete that I would assume that he could be playing for at least another 15 years. And if he is, he'll be at the top because he's so talented. His knowledge of the game and the knowledge of tactics already at his age is absolutely incredible. And then, of course, the skill that he has, the variety, and he knows how to do everything at 22 years old already.
You know, this is not the best Carlos Alcaraz we have seen. He will get better and better over the years. His best time, I think, is probably only coming.
Yes.
Mats, it's only 22. He needs to just keep the motivation level going. I think that's the hardest part when you have won all 4. To just keep it going year in, year out. That's the tough part in tennis.
I was going to say that. He's basically completed tennis now at the age of 22. It's hard to keep going. You know, Mats, you did it really young yourself in terms of won a lot of Grand Slam titles. Where'd you go from there?
Yeah, it's very hard. I think, Babsi, you're 100% right. Motivation is the hardest thing to keep that up. Again, though, to watch somebody like Rafa and Roger and Novak do it for so long, I think that helps. But still, losing tennis matches hurt, whether you have won 24 Grand Slams or not, or if you're Carlos Alcaraz, and you have to be willing to lose matches, and it hurts. But you got to pick yourself up again and try and win again. And that's the hard part being a professional athlete, when you either lose or win, because losing hurts. It really does.
And tomorrow he will have to set new goals again. Carlos Alcaraz, right? I mean, this was a goal to win this. Now it's probably to win all 4 Grand Slams in 1 year, to win 24 Grand Slam titles. It's a constant, goal setting.
Well, we can now put to bed the conversation about could he do it without Juan Carlos Ferrero. The answer is absolutely yes, Mats.
Yeah, he absolutely has learned so much. We mustn't forget that Juan Carlos Ferrero was with him since he was 14, 15 years old, and has most probably taught him, well, nearly everything that he knows in terms of tactics. But he's such a natural talent that there was no question in my mind that he was going to be able to do that. Obviously, he's being helped by Samuel Lopez. The pressure has been on him to do well and to win tournaments, but the pressure is also on him to entertain. And the fact that he's able to do what he's doing is just amazing. I think he would have gotten this even if he wouldn't have won tonight. He would have eventually won this tournament, but might as well get it out of the way. And now we can start looking at other records that he could possibly break.
Novak, obviously, a final, an incredible achievement, but he still wants more.
That first set today, I thought, wow, he is actually going to be able to do this. And then after the 4th set, also he was really close, and he could have won it. He had a set point, of course, and didn't convert. So if it goes to 5 sets, who knows?
Yeah.
So I think that he's going to go home and he's going to try and stay fit and healthy. French Open might be tough for him, I think, but Wimbledon, there's not that many guys that are really good on grass courts, and that maybe be his best chance, don't you think?
I agree. He needs to look after his body. He's not getting younger. And as much as we talk about how fit he is now at the age of 38, there is an expiration date at some stage. We're not going to see him in 10 years' time.
Unexpected message from Alcaraz's mother after his victory. It is well known that family is key to Carlos Alcaraz in his day-to-day life, both on and off the court. The success of the Mercian tennis player cannot be understood without fully knowing his entire universe, from the daily closeness of his brother and father to the constant suffering, always from afar in El Palmar, of his mother, Virginia. This fact was clearly reflected in the image of the newly crowned Australian Open champion upon his arrival in his hometown, El Palmar, where he still lives with his parents and siblings. As a result, The words of his mother Virginia in the Netflix documentary A Mi Manera have once again gained importance, when she expressed one of her main concerns regarding the moment her son is going through. People expect him to be like Rafa, a legend, she stated, referring to the constant comparisons with Rafael Nadal that have accompanied Alcaraz since his first major victories. Although she acknowledges that these comparisons are an honor, the tennis player's mother warns of the risk posed by such high expectations for a player who is still taking his first steps among the elite. But he must not let people get into that personal space of his, Virginia herself pointed out, underlining the importance of protecting the athlete's personal balance. In this sense, she was blunt in expressing her greatest fear, that they don't turn him into a broken toy. The words of Alcaraz's mother highlight the less visible side of success. While the tennis player has become one of the biggest names in sport after becoming the youngest player to win the main tournaments on the circuit, his family tries to ensure that he keeps his feet on the ground and preserves the simplicity that has characterized him since his beginnings. Virginia Garcia, who keeps a low profile, rarely gives interviews, but in the documentary she offers an intimate view of how the family is living through this moment. A resident of El Palmar, the Murcian town where Alcaraz grew up with his 3 brothers, the tennis player's mother tries to maintain as normal a life as possible, far from the spotlight that now surrounds her son. In addition, her involvement in the Carlos Alcaraz Foundation, dedicated to children's well-being through sport, reflects how the young star's success has also transformed family life. Garcia is a board member of the organization, while the tennis player's father serves as vice president. With her statements, Virginia Garcia sends a clear message: beyond titles and records, the priority is to protect Carlos Alcaraz as a person in a career marked by early fame and constant pressure. Carlos Alcaraz fuels romance rumors with Peggy Gou with his latest gesture. The South Korean DJ was seen in the Australian Open champions box during one of his matches. Every time Carlos Alcaraz plays a Grand Slam, he is linked to a new girlfriend. The recent Australian Open champion has been associated with South Korean model and DJ Peggy Gou after she was seen in the Murcian tennis player's box during his match against Alex de Minaur. This is a space usually reserved for the athlete's team and inner circle, so the gesture did not go unnoticed. Her involvement during the match was absolute. Cameras followed her gestures, celebrations, and nervous moments non-stop, to the point that several specialized media outlets shared videos focused exclusively on her reactions. In the subsequent press conference, the tennis player was asked about her. "She's really cool and I hope to win the next round if I want to see her set music. I'm happy she's close. She's given me a lot of support, which is really cool. I hope I can see her on Sunday," he said. Peggy was in Melbourne for work, as she had several shows coinciding with the Australian Open, including a performance in the final as part of OW Live, which combines tennis and live music as part of the event's programming. In statements to the Australian newspaper, the artist explained that they met thanks to a mutual friend, restaurant and nightclub entrepreneur David Grutman. "We are friends. Alcaraz and Jannik Sinner were playing matches in Korea and my parents are big tennis fans. They asked me, could you get us a ticket, please? I asked David and he was the one who introduced us. We met in Korea and became good friends," Gu said. Despite the fact that both have made their relationship clear, the world number one's latest gesture has only fueled rumors, especially among fans. Alcaraz accompanied his latest batch of photos on Instagram with a song by the artist, It Goes, Na Na Na, which is very popular on social media and streaming charts. Peggy Gou is 34 years old and is one of the most influential DJs on the international electronic music scene. Born in South Korea, she studied at the prestigious London College of Fashion and, over time, has collaborated with luxury brands such as Bottega Veneta, consolidating a professional career that goes far beyond music.